My name is Tybo. Today we're going to look at this beautiful computer from Olivetti. This is the M24. I will open it up, inspect it and see what we have inside it. I know it's very filthy and the clock battery has probably leaked also, so we're gonna fix that. So stay tuned and let's see this one on the bench. So with the M24 on the bench, we will have a look at it and open it up and see what we're dealing with. The first issue I see is that the hinge for the floppy drive has broken off. Don't have it, but I will probably have to see if I can order it somewhere online. Yeah, that's how it goes. And let's see if we can turn it around. And again, yeah, it's very heavy. But there we go. And let's look at what we have in the back. So the first thing is the on and off button. Underneath the on and off button we have the power in, then the power out, a keyboard connector, the fan grill. It's extremely dirty, I can say that already. Then we have the parallel port and a serial port. Here we have an empty slot, and at least we have the video out. So that's what we're dealing with. Let's crack it open. I will try to find my screwdriver and let's get on with it. And there it is. So the M24 has two screws, one on the left side and one on the right side. It's very easy to screw out, and as you can see, they stick, so they don't fall out. Let's turn our attention to the front and get the cabin off. It's just a push, and there you go. So let's turn the computer around and look at the cards. So the first card is the video output card, then we have the RAM expansion card and the hard drive card. Olivetti MX5210-2, and underneath that we have the floppy drive. Here we have the PCB where all the expansion card goes in. Let's pull them out and have a closer look at all of them. Our first board is the DTC 5150BX hard disk adapter. It's for MFM hard disk. Up here we have the dip switches, and we have a socket, and on the end we have the connection for the hard drives. There are obviously for two hard drives on this card. So on the memory expansion card we see we have 4 rows of 8 plus 1 parity chip. That brings a total of 256 kilobytes. On the bottom we can also see there's room for additional upgrades. And here we have the PC 1050 CIT controller. On the top we can see the expansion for the option board, which I will come back to in a later video. Here we have the ROM with the Danish character sets and a 5-volt input. Another ground and 5 volts, and the connectors connecting the main board for expansion cards to the main motherboard. And the 25-pin CRT monitor connector. all clean again. And this one too. A bit dirty, but we managed to clean it up, made it beautiful again. As you know, we do love our Olivettis. So this M24 was originally produced in mid-1983 by Olivetti. It was also a little bit later on introduced to the American market, and it was licensed via Xerox and AT&T. And this one, the M24, has an Intel AT86, which is clocked to, wait for it, 8 megahertz. Yeah, it was ahead of its time, which also meant that around 1986 it was the most selling computer in the whole of Europe. And just in 1986, the estimated total sold items of the M24 was around a little bit more than 300,000 units. That was pretty cool. Well, I would like to dig a little bit into it here on my table, so I'll move it over because I have a few items I just want to show you. Yes, let's get it on the table. There we are. So one of the things that I really want to show you is the ahead of time design that actually came into the Olivetti M24. This was the first real PC compatible computer that they produced, and they wanted to have it 100% compatible. So there is nothing that runs on a XT from, a PC from IBM that won't run on this one at that time. But as you can see, we have this sleek grill down here, and the whole design of it has such clean lines and also nice curves. And this comes from the whole Italian mindset, as you know, by the cars also. So Olivetti really adapted that one. Another thing I want to show you is how easy it is to gain access to this computer. We have the 2 screws on the top, and we also have 2 screws on the bottom. I have loosened them ahead of time, and it's just so easy to get in it. You can actually unscrew them with your fingers. You just push on it and lift it up. That is crazy amazing. Remember, this is 1983. That design came up. So beautiful. And if I just turn it a little bit around, another thing they decided on was to make everything inside also as slick, clean, and easy accessible as the outside. So for instance, you don't see a motherboard because, as you know by now, the motherboard is down here, which is the design. So you just have this PCB up here, which is just a PCB for all the expansion card. I won't go into the specification of specifically this one in this video. I will make another video later on explaining everything on the hardware side of it. But another thing I just wanted to show you, and if I can find my trusted friend, and I'll place myself on the chair, is how to remove this one. Because again, a lot of people will expect you have to find screws to pull it out with, but that's not the case. At the bottom, you will find a little hinge down here, and that one needs to be tipped down. So you put your screwdrivers in on the top and move it a bit down, and then you can actually push the whole unit out. Let me explain. I'll show you. So if I can get my head down here, let's move it up. There we go. Like this, and just tilt it a bit up, and then you actually have it out now. So what I'm saying is that you just need to find this and pull down on it. So you pull down, which unleashes this one. Putting it in again is also almost equally easy. Just ensure that it's on the sliding, and then you have it in. Done. That's how it should do. That's how you should build a computer. So easy. The power supply up here also only has one screw, which is down here to hold it in, and then it has more or less the same mechanism like this on this side of the power supply. Let me put the lid on again, and we will turn it around upside down. So put it on like this. You just need to ensure that you get it down here on both sides. You see, like this. And put the screws in, sorry, like this, like this. Oh, sorry, there we go. I'll turn it slightly around. There we go. It's very heavy. Another push, and off it goes. So easy, so nice, so nice. So very quickly, I'm again not going into the depth of how this board is designed. I just want to say 1983, amazing. The whole design, the structure, how easy accessible it is, just super cool. One thing I want to say is when you want to pull it out after unscrewing, you need to remember to push out, gently pull out this reset button. It actually comes out very easy, and you just put it in afterwards. Very important. So remember that one. As you can see, we just here have the battery. This is a power LED. Up here we have the BIOS. Here we have some RAM. Here we have the CPU, and here we have the floppy disk controller. And over here we have peripherals for the serial and parallel port. So again, the design is ahead of its time because Olivetti said to themselves, we need to build everything in. We don't want to waste people having to buy extra expandable slots, cards for the slots to give you peripheral things like a parallel and a serial. That's pre-built in, just like the floppy disk controller is also built in. Very nice. And here down here we just have the keyboard. So as I also mentioned, Olivetti's M24, or actually more or less the whole M line, was not internally by Olivetti called M24, M24 SP, M28, and so on and so forth. They were actually called PC 1050. So a lot of their own developed motherboards or equipments have always the PC 1050 number on it. And a little bit later, they also decided to, with their external peripherals, like the graphics cards, or if it was Olivetti's own hard disk controller, they would name it GO and then a 3-digit number. So this would be 326, I think. I can't remember. I'll put it in so you can see what it actually is called. So the numbers are GO something. But the computer itself was known as PC 1050. Let me put the lid on again, ensuring this is over and this is over. There we go. Slide it in. I think I will like to have the screws put in this time. So, oh, hold on. There we go. Like this. It's a little bit. There we go. And on the other side, I'll just do the same, just so it won't fall off. There we go. And I will turn it around. Gentle, but it's so heavy. There we go. So I will hook up the monitor and the keyboard, and then we'll see if it actually runs. So let's find, that's the power. There we go. Here we have the Olivetti monitor, which has the power from the actual unit. The 29-pin connector goes in here and goes up here. And then we can turn it all around. Oh, sorry. Forgot the keyboard. So let's turn it back again. So it's actually a 9-pin connector, but they only use the 5 above. And I will also send a link to describe how you can actually, how the connections are done. So let's put it in and then turn it around. It takes a little bit of time to start up. Obviously I have tried to start it before and it should work. There is although a problem with the hard drive, which is common for hard drives that's almost 40 years old. It will sometimes run and sometimes it won't. So this will more or less be the last time I will ever turn this on. I will eventually build this in. So we have a compact flash card instead of with the operating system. I'll just disable the hard drive so and ensure that it's parked so that it won't be further damaged. And I will move everything from it over to the flash card and put it in. I know this doesn't make it 100% pure Olivetti 1983, but my goal is not to have a item that sits in a museum behind a glass counter or something so you cannot work with it, touch it or anything. I want a computer that actually runs, but it needs to not be damaged. So that's why I'm putting this into it. Okay, let's turn it on. Let's see if it actually will work. As you can see, if I tilt the camera a little bit up, we have 512, which means when you saw the expansion card, it actually had the possibility to be expanded by further. So this computer can go on the max of 640. It takes a little bit of time for it to start. In the case it won't start, I have also the original Olivetti MS-DOS disk. This is a 3.2 version. Well, let's see if we are so lucky. There you go. Disk is ready. And then let's see, it saw that there isn't any disk in. And we are up and running. So there we go. So the hard disk is okay for this time. Again, this is a beautiful computer, and if you haven't come across one of these, you absolutely should. Just to compare it with other clones at that time, that era, you will understand why this actually became a really, really good, solid computer, and it just runs and runs and runs. That kind of like completes this episode of the M24. As you can see behind me, I have a few more of them laying around that also need some attention. If I turn the camera a little bit more around, I have an M24 SP, which is the equivalent. It's more or less just 10 megahertz version of it. And over here we have another M24. This one is a little bit unique in that it doesn't have a hard disk inside it, but it's actually an Olivetti unit on the side, which is this one over here, where it has the hard disk into it. And it's linked to the motherboard via a slot that's in the side of the M24. Up here we have the M28, which is the AT, and over here we have a M240. So that's M24-ish. So that's just a newer version of the M24. I hope you enjoyed this short video where I cleaned the M24, and if you like what you're seeing, please do subscribe, give me a thumbs up, or give me a thumbs down if you don't like it. And just another thing, I will put all my documents about the M24 on archive.org. I'll also put a link down there so you can see where to find the documentation. But that's it for now, and thank you for staying, and see you next time. Bye.